Welcome. Let's discuss the idea of partial fraction decomposition. When we are being given a rational, there is a way to rewrite it in a more simple way. That's the process that we call partial fraction decomposition. Now, let's illustrate the process. The first thing that we are going to do, we're going to take a look at the denominator and we're going to see, can we factor out that expression? The denominator for this example, it is the expression of x squared minus x. So let's factor that out. So notice that these two terms, they have an x in common. Let's factor out x. Now we're going to recognize how many expressions we have in our factor denominator, which in this case, there are two, the expression of x and the expression of x minus 1. Well, we're going to say that we can rewrite this fraction into the sum of smaller fractions, where the first fraction is going to have the first expression in the factor denominator, which is x, and another fraction, which is going to use the other expression in the factor denominator, which is x minus 1. So now we have an objective. But now the real question is, what is the numerator for each of those smaller fractions? And that's going to be our next objective. But there's a relationship that we're going to recognize, and that is that the numerator will always be 1 degree lower than the expression in the denominator. When we take a look at the first fraction that we have here, it is of degree 1. Well, that implies that the numerator of our first fraction should be of degree 0. In other words, it is just a number. It is a constant. So let's just use a placeholder. Let me use the letter of capital case A. And again, A is just a placeholder for some number. Maybe A is 2, maybe A is 3, maybe 4. We do not know, but it's just a placeholder of some number. We're going to figure out the value of that number next. Now let's take a look at the next denominator. Notice that it's also degree 1. So therefore, the numerator of our second fraction must be of degree 0. Let's use a capital case B as a placeholder. And again, B, it is going to be a number. We do not know the value. Maybe it is equals to 20. Maybe it is equals to 30. Maybe it is equals to minus 3. We do not know. It is just a placeholder for some number. We're going to figure out that number next. And now that we have this set up, let's multiply by the denominator of the original fraction that we were given. So let's do that. But whatever we do on one side of the equation, we must do it on the other side as well. Now notice what's going to happen when we do this. The expression of x and x minus 1 is going to cancel out with the whole denominator on the left-hand side. And now, because there are two terms on our right-hand side, we will have to distribute this out. But when we distribute to the first fraction, this x is going to cancel out with this x. So let's multiply what's left, which is a times x minus 1. And when we distribute to the second term, this x minus 1 is going to get canceled out with this x minus 1. So let's multiply what is left, which is just b times x. So now notice that we do not have any rationals anymore. It is all a linear function. But keep in mind, what is the objective right now? The objective is that we are still trying to figure out what is the value of a and b. So how about we expand this a little bit? Let's distribute this a to the first expression of x minus 1. So we're going to get a times x minus a. And let's expand the second term by distributing this b. So we're going to end up with bx. So now this is starting to get a little bit complicated. So let's organize our result. And that's going to be our next step. Let's organize the right-hand side using variables. So let me rewrite the left-hand side, negative 5x plus 4. And on the right-hand side, notice that there are two terms that has the variable of x on them. Let me group them. So one term had a coefficient of a, and the second term, it is a positive b, and they both have a variable of x. Now convince yourself that when you distribute, you are going to end up with the term of ax, and when you distribute to the second one, you're going to end up with the term of bx. So we still working with the same expression, we just organize it based on variables. And this term that does not have an x on it, let me just rewrite it right after the first grouping. So now let's understand why are we grouping? Because at the end of the day, we are working with an equation. We want to see when is the whole left-hand side equals to the whole right-hand side. But because we have organized everything by variables, that's the same as saying that term that had the variable of x on the left should be equal to the term that had the variable of x in the right. And that constant in the left should be equal to the constant in the right. So now we can use this relationship and create two small equations. Let me erase what we have written as strategy to give myself some space to finish the problem. Because using the relationship with the terms, we can say that the coefficients of those in front of x in the right should be equal to the coefficients of those in front of x in the left. So we can say that a plus b should be equal to -5. And we can also say that the constant in the right should be equal to the constant in the left. In other words, -a should be equals to 4. And now notice that we can solve for a and b. We can rewrite this by saying that a is equivalent to -4. And now that we know the value of a, how about we look at the equation of the relationship in greens and substitute that value? And now we have -4 plus b equals -5. And when we add 4 to this small equation, we get the value of b that was needed, which is -1. So now we know the value of the numerators that were needed. So now let's go back to our setup and let's substitute the value of a as -4, and let's substitute the value of b as -1. So we have achieved our objective. But we can still rewrite this a little bit, because instead of writing -4 on the numerator, I can just bring that negative to the front. And instead of writing -1 on the numerator, I can just bring that to the front. So let's make sense of what we have said. This original rational that we were given, it is equal to this expression that we have found. So now let's show that they're actually equal. Let's graph the rational that we were given, and then let's graph the rational that we just found. So let's start by graphing the original problem, -5x plus 4 divided by x squared minus x. But now let's graph the result that we found. Notice that they are overlapping. They have the same graph, therefore they're equal to each other. So we have shown that our result makes sense. Hello. If you would like to continue learning mathematics,